Hi guys, and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a little story time. In case you have not subscribed or seen any of my other videos, you will find out that I am a married woman. I have been married going on 15 years, May 6th of this year. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my story on how I met my husband. It was definitely not something that I thought would happen to me at that point in my life. But when it did, I knew that it was fate. I knew that he was the one, and the rest is history. So it all began in October of 2002. When I was basically living on my own, and I had a really good friend who I would talk to, and we would kind of hang out. And he called me. He was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I was like, "You know, nothing." I was an avid watcher of The Simpsons, so I was just basically just chilling out on the sofa watching The Simpsons. It was a Friday night, and he said, "You know what? Let's go to the club." So I said, all right. I called my cousin, and my cousin was like, I'm game. So we got ourselves together. He came and picked me up first, and then he picked up my cousin. And we went to the club. It's called the Classics. I'm a Washingtonian, so that's like, back in the day, that was a pretty, popular spot for people to go and hang out. So we went to the club. Good times. We danced. We had a good time. And in the club, I remember seeing my husband there, but it was only in like a glance. I just saw this guy, and I was like, oh, okay. He was dancing with somebody else. I was dancing with somebody else, and it wasn't a big deal. So we didn't speak in the club. But there was one guy in particular that I was dancing with that was just like on me. Like he was just having a good time, and I was having a good time too. So it was just like, all right, cool, whatever. So long story short, the club was about to close. And the guy that I was dancing with the most of the night, he asked me for my number. So I was like, all right, cool. So I gave it to him and proceeded to leave with my friends and my cousin from the club. So I'm walking out of the building, and lo and behold, I had to be that one girl that was next to the person that decided that they wanted to get into a fight. And not only did their fight get in the way of me, I almost tripped and fell down the steps out of the club trying to get away from them. So yeah, oh God. So I'm walking out of the club, and out of nowhere, I hear this guy, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey." And he reached out and he shook my hand. I was like, okay, this is weird. I've never had a guy shake my hand and introduce himself like that. So that was the first thing that caught my eye. And he asked me if he could walk me to my car. So I was like, cool. And we proceeded to walk, me and my cousin. And I was like, at this point, you don't feel the pain when you're dancing in your shoes. But as soon as you start to stand still or walk, it's like they start barking to the gods. So I'm literally walking with my husband down the parking lot, and I'm limping like a fool. And he proceeds to ask me, he's like, "Oh, you want me to carry you?" So I was like, okay. So he proceeded to try to pick me up, and we almost bit the dust, like straight up. He lifted me up, and I felt his knees buckle. So I said, okay, I appreciate the fact that you tried, but let's just save this for another day. So we laughed about that, and we proceeded to keep walking. And I tell you, in that short 5-minute walk, it was like, I don't know, something just clicked. So he asked me for my number. I gave it to him. And that was that. I thought, you know what, whatever. I gave my number to 2 guys tonight. The chances of one of them calling me was pretty high, but I wasn't going to hold my breath. So I just let that be that. And so the next day, which was a Saturday, I get a phone call from him. And it was kind of odd because usually guys don't call you right away. But I sensed that he wanted to get to know me quickly. I mean, I don't even know if that makes sense, but I just sensed the urgency in getting to know me. And he didn't let time get away. He called me while he was still fresh in my mind. And I could appreciate that because, I mean, there's no telling what could happen between when I met him and the next time I would talk to him. So the fact that he was man enough to call me with that sense of urgency, that let me know right away that he was digging me from the very beginning. And I really appreciated that. So when he did call me, we talked and, oh, let me back up. So the first time he called me, I was watching The Simpsons and I kind of brushed him off. I said, you know what? Let me call you back because I'm in the middle of a really important episode of The Simpsons. And I could hear the hesitation in his voice like, is this happening for real? She gonna brush me off for The Simpsons? I told him, I said, I'll call you back. And he's like, okay. So I watched my episode. I was chilling, eating me a bowl of cereal. And I actually called him back. And when I called him, he sounded rather surprised. And come to find out later on, he told me that he had basically given up. He had written me off just like, oh, she wasn't really feeling me. So anybody that tells you that they're watching The Simpsons when you call them, I don't think they dig you. But that was so not the case. I was just such a huge fan of The Simpsons. And he knew that. And it caught him off guard. I'll just say that. It caught him off guard. So after that, after I called him back, I was on the phone with him. And we just talked. And we just really enjoyed each other's company. And I tell you guys, when I say that I knew something was there, I was willing to break away from the guys that I was dating. And specifically, there was one guy that I was talking to for maybe a week or two. And we were really digging each other. But I said, you know what? It's something about this guy, Stefan, that is just so intriguing. I don't want to waste time getting to know anyone else. So me being the woman that I am, I proceeded to call this guy up, the other guy, and tell him, I said, you know what? I met someone else and I'm really feeling them. And I don't think it would be fair for us to continue to talk because my mind and my attention, I'm not completely there with you. And I don't want you to waste your time when I know up front I am, you know, kind of digging someone else. And when I told him that, he was kind of like, dang, that was kind of commendable that I was woman enough to come to him and be honest, saying, look, I'm not about that life of holding on to people and having these multiple guys at my disposal. I wanted to let him know that I was about being honest and being serious with one person. And when I told him that, he appreciated me even more for being honest. And I let him know right away. I don't even think I let a day or two go by. And I called him up and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I have to tell you this. I have to be honest and just let you know I'm digging somebody else. I met somebody else and I'm not here anymore. And he wasn't offended. He was very appreciative of my honesty. So after I let that go and I just devoted all of my time to communicating and getting to know Stefan, I just became more and more sure of myself that this was a man that I wanted to be with long term. And it just turned into this whirlwind romance where I just felt like this guy is going to be around for a very long time. And from that night in October of 2003, we were married by October 2002. By May of 2003, we were already husband and wife. And I can tell you, that was like, I surprised myself, because here I am, a baby. I mean, I'm practically a baby. I don't think I was even, in October of 2002, I was 21. I was 21 years old. And I was just smitten with him. And for good reason. He's a really amazing guy. And so we got married, and we have been kicking it for 15 years, you guys. And when I say I feel like I fall in love with him every day all over again, I mean it. Like, he is the greatest. The greatest. And it's just like everything that I thought I wanted and didn't know I wanted was right there. And I was in the right mindset to recognize it when it came. I dealt with my fools. I dated men that they made it plain to me what I did not want to put up with, what I did not want to deal with. And when that moment came, when I laid eyes on this man, not knowing that he was going to be my life partner at that time, when I laid eyes on him, I could clearly recognize that this is who I wanted to be with. And that is what I hope that many women would experience in their lifetime, is that recognition of the man that they want to be with. And unfortunately, I had to go through the bull to get to my king. It's just, I mean, it just comes with the territory. But it's knowing and recognizing it when it's right there in front of you. That is key to everything. And making it plain, and what you want and what you desire is what led me to this moment. So there you have it, guys. That is the story of when I met my husband. And I tell that story with such glee and happiness, because that was a night that I will never forget. I remember what he had on. I remember what I had on. And I'm just truly grateful that I could be at that place at that moment to meet the man of my dreams. So that's my story, you guys. Thank you for watching and taking the time to hear about my story of how I met my Prince Charming. And if you have anything that you would like to share or comment or say about what it means to really be in love and recognize it with the quickness. Like, most people say, okay, so I'm rambling, but I'm just gonna say this one more thing. Most people say it takes a while for you to date and get to know someone, but I always say, look, when you know, you know. And it does not take me a year to know that this is the man that I'm going to be with. I knew right off the bat that this is it. This is the end of the road for me. I'm going I'm going to surrender right here, because this is the man that I want to be with. And he has been he has been so much more than I could ever dream of. So yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon, and I am ready and I am pumped and excited to get on this journey and start pumping those videos out, because you guys are in for a treat, and I'm just so happy and I'm ready. I'm truly ready to get that fire started under me to start pumping out these videos and sharing with the world what it's like to be in my shoes, what it's like to be a married woman and be a happily married woman. So if any of you guys have any suggestions or any things, any questions that you may have about myself or my husband, or just about marriage, feel free to drop me a line and I will get back to you as soon as I can.